Ginger and Bobby grew up like sisters. Maisie, a respectful police officer in St. Anne, had raised them both as her own. Her beautiful mansion was a symbol of hard work and pride. Ginger, her dark-skinned daughter with long braids and a confident smile, had her mother's courage. Bobby, on the other hand, light-skinned, with silky black hair and a delicate face, came from another world in St. Catherine where life was not as easy. Maisie had taken Bobby in after her mother, Miss Patsy, fell ill. Miss Patsy was a dark-skinned woman with a gentle heart, short afro, and eyes that told stories of struggle. She loved her daughter dearly, but spent most of the time in and out of the hospital. As the girls grew older, their differences began to show. Ginger was proud of who she was, proud of her mother Maisie, proud of her roots. But Bobby, she felt ashamed of her own mother. When people would ask, she lied and said Maisie was her mother too. She had stopped visiting Miss Patsy altogether, pretending she never knew the woman who had given birth to her. One day Miss Patsy grew very sick. From her hospital bed she sent messages after message through Maisie, begging Bobby to come and visit. Maisie pleaded with Bobby. Bobby, go and check on your mother. I mean, she is your mother. Why you treat her like that? But Bobby only lied, pretending she had gone. Deep down, she wanted nothing to do with her real mother. Weeks later, when Miss Patsy started to feel a little better, though still weak, she decided to surprise her daughter at the school. She put on her best dress and made her way to the prominent high school where both Ginger and Bobby attended. As she entered the schoolyard, she saw them, Ginger and Bobby, standing with their friends. Patsy smiled softly and called out, "Me babies, how you doing?" Ginger's face lit up. She ran straight to Miss Patsy and hugged her tight. But Bobby, Bobby stood there frozen, her eyes filled with embarrassment and disgust. Patsy took a few steps closer to Bobby. "Bobby, me picnic," she said, reaching out her trembling hand. Bobby stepped back, lifted up her hand in rejection, and shouted, "You filthy woman, you're not my mother. Go find your class." Then she turned on her heels and walked away. The entire schoolyard went silent. Ginger called Patsy just as her knees gave out. Patsy cried so hard. Her voice echoed through the schoolyard. "Oh, Jin! Oh, Jin, my heart a break! Oh, my one daughter could treat me like this!" Ginger and another student knelt beside her, trying to comfort the broken woman who had only wanted love from her child. As Patsy lay in her bed that night, tears flowed down her cheek. Her mind drifted back to the days when she was young and full of hope, before the sickness, before the shame. She had fallen in love with a man named Bruce who had promised her the world. He told her he would marry her, take her away from St. Catherine, and they would both build a life together. But when she found out she was pregnant, he disappeared like morning mist. Alone, frightened, and with no one to help, she worked days washing clothes and nights cleaning offices, all so that she could buy milk and medicine for her baby. Her voice trembled in the dark as she reminisced. "Me never shame for bring my picnic come in this world, but now she shame on me." It was a hot afternoon downtown. She was 7 months pregnant, carrying a small market bag with baby clothes and a little money that she had saved up for weeks. The streets were crowded, vendors shouting, taxis honking, people rushing by. Then, out of nowhere, a man grabbed her bag and ran. She shouted, "Thief! Thief! The boy thief my bag! Somebody stop him!" But nobody did. Later, with tears streaming down her face, she made her way to the police station to make a report. That's where she met Officer Maisie, a tall, calm, with kind eyes and a steady voice. "Easy now, miss. You see if you're so. Tell me what happened," Officer Maisie asked. For the first time in a long while, someone treated her with care. Maisie listened, took her statement, and even gave her a glass of water. From that day on, Maisie always looked out for her, visiting sometimes, bringing food, and making sure she was okay. And when Patsy gave birth, Maisie was the first person at the hospital. By then, Maisie had her own little girl, Ginger, who was full of life and laughter. But life had not been kind to Maisie either. When Ginger was only 7, Maisie's husband passed away, leaving her to raise their child alone. Around that same time, Patsy received heartbreaking news. She had lupus. The illness slowly began to drain her strength. Some days she could barely get up out of bed. Maisie, seeing her friend's pain, often brought food, medicine, and sit there and chat with her. One afternoon, Patsy broke down in tears. "Me can't manage no more, Maisie. My body weak. I me no want Bobby to suffer." Maisie took her hands gently. "Don't worry, Patsy. Me will look after the baby like she's my own. Bobby will always have a home with me. Don't worry, just focus on your health." And that's how it happened. One woman too sick to take care of her child, and another too kind to watch her suffer. A promise was made out of love, but no one knew that one day hearts would be torn apart. When Maisie heard what had happened at the school earlier that day, her heart nearly stopped. How could Bobby, the child she raised, fed, and loved like her own, would shame the woman that brought her in this world? Maisie's voice trembled with fury as she called out, "Bobby! Come here, right now!" Bobby walked in slowly, her head down, eyes nervous. Maisie's face was hard, tears mixed with anger. "So, I saw you treat your mother, girl? You bring shame to your mother, and she brought you in this world? How could you disgrace your mother like that in front of people?" Bobby stammered. Me never mean." Maisie slammed her hand on the table. "Shut your mouth! Me no want hear nothing from you, you ungrateful picnic." Her voice cracked. "Me give you love like you was my own flesh and blood. And this is how you repay me, Bobby? As of tonight, you're going to pack your bag right now. Me carrying you back to your mother. And you better beg for her forgiveness. Otherwise, I will deal with you. You're going to see the next side of me. Pack your bag right now." Bobby burst into tears, but Maisie's eyes stayed fixed. A mother's pain mixed with disappointment. The sound of rain began to fall outside as Maisie pointed to the bedroom. "Go pack your things right now!" The car ride from St. Anne to St. Catherine was silent. Not a word passed between Maisie, Ginger or Bobby. Only the sound of the tires humming on the dark, lonely road. Maisie's face was turned. Ginger's eyes filled with worry. And Bobby? She just stared out the windows, tears sliding down her cheek. After 3 long hours, they reached to Miss Patsy's house. The night here was still, and the light in her bedroom glowed softly through the curtains. Maisie knocked gently, calling out, "Patsy! Patsy! It's me, Maisie! Bring Bobby!" No answer. She pushed the door open slowly. Patsy was laying on the bed, her hands folded on her chest, a small smile frozen on her face, as if she had been waiting for peace. Maisie went closer, touching her shoulder. "Patsy, Patsy, wake up now. I bring Bobby." But she didn't move. Maisie's voice cracked. "Ah, Patsy! Oh, Jesus, Patsy, wake up, Patsy." Bobby stepped inside, trembling. When she saw her mother, she dropped to her knees, crying uncontrollably. "Mother! Mother! Miss sorry, me never mean it, mother. Wake up, mother. Miss sorry, mother. Wake up, mommy, wake up." Maisie held her tight as she sobbed. Outside, the crickets sang, the only sound left to answer the cries of a daughter who came home too late. A week later, the small church in St. Catherine was filled with quiet sobs and the sound of hymns. Patsy's casket rested at the front of the church, surrounded by white lilies. Bobby sat in the front row, her eyes red and swollen. She clutched a small handkerchief, the same one her mother used to carry. Maisie sat beside her, holding her hand slightly, while Ginger stood behind them, singing softly through her tears. As the pastor's voice echoed, Bobby stood up slowly, trembling. She walked to the casket. She hugged it. She was inconsolable. "Me sorry, mommy, me sorry," she whispered. "Me love you and I promise I will never be ashamed of you again. All I want you to do is to wake up." Maisie's eyes filled with tears. She reached forward, touching Bobby's shoulder as the choir sang "By and By." Outside, sunlight filtered through the trees. The wind carried the sound of church bells and rustling leaves, as if the whole world paused to honor a mother's love. The moral of the story is some love can't wait forever. Patsy loved her daughter even when shame pushed her away, but when truth came, it came with tears. A mother's heart might break, but her love, it will never die. I do hope you enjoyed this story. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. And have a blessed day. Bye.